Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the history of something we all love, video games. But did you know that before they were about high scores, epic quests, and online battles, they were just science experiments? It's a wild story, so let's get into it. Picture this, it's the 1950s. Computers aren't in our pockets or on our desks. They're colossal machines, filling entire rooms owned by universities and government research labs. These weren't for playing games. They were for calculating missile trajectories and crunching complex data. The people using them were scientists and engineers in white lab coats, not gamers. The closest thing to a screen was often an oscilloscope, a device used to display electrical signals as a waveform. You've probably seen them in old sci-fi movies, those little green glowing lines bouncing up and down. They were tools for serious analysis, not entertainment. This is the world where the very first video game was born. The year is 1958, at the Brookhaven National Laboratory in New York. The lab was holding its annual open house, a day where they'd show the public what all their taxpayer money was being spent on. The problem was, most of the exhibits were pretty, boring, static displays, complex charts, walls of text about nuclear physics. You can imagine the public's excitement level. A physicist named William Higginbotham noticed this. He saw visitors looking bored and decided he could do something much more engaging. He wanted to create an exhibit that was interactive, something that would liven up the tour and show people that science could be fun and dynamic. So, what did he do? He designed a game. Using an analog computer and an oscilloscope for a screen, he created what he called Tennis for Two. The game was incredibly simple by today's standards. The oscilloscope screen showed a side view of a tennis court, just a horizontal line for the ground and a short vertical line in the middle for the net. A little dot of light bounced back and forth, and two players, each with a controller that had a knob and a button, could control the angle of their racket and hit the ball over the net. The computer calculated the ball's trajectory, even simulating gravity and wind resistance. It was a true marvel of its time. On the day of the open house, Tennis for Two was a massive hit. People lined up for hours to get a chance to play. They were fascinated. They'd never seen anything like it. For the first time, they weren't just observing a machine. They were interacting with it in real time, playing a game against each other. It was a revolutionary concept. You can just imagine the scene. Scientists and their families crowded around this little glowing screen, laughing and competing. It was pure, simple fun. The line to play was so long that the lab had to use a bigger oscilloscope the following year. But here's the most fascinating part of the story. Higginbotham had absolutely no intention of creating an entertainment product. He didn't think he was inventing a new industry. To him, Tennis for Two was a one-off gimmick, a little diversion for an open house. He never even filed a patent for it. When the open house was over, the machine was disassembled, and its parts were used for other, more serious scientific projects. The world's first video game was simply packed away and forgotten for almost 2 decades. Higginbotham went back to his work on nuclear non-proliferation. He was a serious scientist, and in his mind, games were just a temporary distraction. This attitude was common among the scientific community at the time. Computers were seen as powerful, expensive tools for serious research. The idea of using them for something as frivolous as play seemed like a complete waste of valuable computing time and resources. Think about it. A single hour on one of these early mainframes could cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Using that time to play a game, it was almost unthinkable. A few other academics and students at places like MIT were also creating early games, like Spacewar, in 1962, but again, these were seen as clever programming exercises or tech demos, not commercial products. They were created to test the hardware's capabilities or to impress fellow programmers, not to sell to the public. The creators were hackers in the original sense of the word, people who loved to explore the limits of technology just for the sake of it. So, how did we get from these forgotten lab experiments to the multi-billion-dollar industry we have today? The shift happened when the technology became cheaper and more accessible. In the early 1970s, entrepreneurs like Nolan Bushnell, who had played Spacewar in college, saw the commercial potential. He realized that if you could take this experience out of the university lab and put it into a bar or an arcade, people would pay to play it. This led to the creation of computer space, and more famously, Pong in 1972. Pong was essentially a commercialized, much simpler version of Higginbotham's tennis for two. But this time, it wasn't a science exhibit. It was designed from the ground up to do one thing: make money. And it did. Pong was a phenomenon, and it kick-started the arcade boom and the home console market. Entertainment had officially entered the picture. What this story really shows us is a fascinating pattern in innovation. So many groundbreaking technologies don't start with a clear purpose or a business plan. The internet was originally a military communication network. GPS was for guiding missiles. Even the microwave oven was an accidental discovery from radar technology research. Innovation often begins with curiosity, with someone asking, "What if?" without necessarily thinking about the practical applications. Higginbotham wasn't trying to invent an industry. He was just trying to make a science fair less boring. He was playing, and in that act of play, he stumbled upon an idea that would change the world of entertainment forever. It's a powerful reminder that creativity and progress often flourish when we allow ourselves to experiment without a specific goal in mind. The most impactful inventions are sometimes the ones that start out as just a fun little side project. The scientists at Brookhaven saw tennis for two as a temporary diversion. They had no idea they were witnessing the birth of a new art form, an industry that would eventually rival Hollywood. They packed it all away, completely unaware that the ghost in their machine was just waiting for the right time to come out and play. It just goes to show you that you never know where the next big thing will come from. It might just be starting right now, in a lab or a garage somewhere, as nothing more than a simple experiment. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this trip back in time as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind our world. Let me know in the comments what your first video game was. I'd love to hear about it. See you in the next one.